my screen. Hopefully you can see this.
We could see it, but now it's unshared, Molly.
Okay, no problem. 2 seconds. There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Right. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Molly Flynn, and I am the Community Flood Resilience Coordinator for the Cornwall Community Flood Forum. As with Devon Communities Together, the Flood Forum are a delivery partner in the Southwest Property Flood Resilience Pathfinder project, which is what I'm delighted to be able to present and talk to you about today. So thank you for the opportunity. Now, one of DEFRA's policy statement goals is to create a nation more resilient to future flooding. And in particular, one of the Environment Agency's key flood risk management objectives is to increase awareness and uptake of more effective approaches to preparing for a flood and protecting our properties. What has become apparent is that we can't rely on large engineered defence schemes, and instead we need a more integrated approach, one which aims to manage risk whilst increasing how prepared and resilient our homeowners, businesses and communities are, especially when we factor in the effects of climate change. And so to that end, DEFRA have awarded £2.9 million for free property flood resilience Pathfinder projects across the country. Now, a project proposal was brought together by the Southwest Regional Flood and Coastal Committee, the RFCC, last summer. And this was led by Cornwall Council on behalf of all 5 lead local flood authorities, which you can see up on the screen there. So Devon County Council, Plymouth City Council, Torbay Council and Council of the Isles of Scilly. Now, in good news for the Southwest, this was one of the bids which was successful, along with one in the Oxcam Arc, led by Northamptonshire County Council, as well as the Yorkshire Pathfinder project, which is being delivered by the City of York Council. All 3 Pathfinder projects are being delivered with support from the Environment Agency and representatives of the insurance and construction industries as well. Here in the Southwest, we are incredibly lucky to have the support of JBA Consulting, who are one of Europe's leading specialists in environmental engineering and environmental management. And then the 2 other key delivery partners in the Southwest Pathfinder project, as I already mentioned, are our community groups, so Devon Communities Together and Cornwall Community Flood Forum. We're also being supported by a whole range of strategic partners as well. So the project actually started last summer, but in reality, we didn't really get going until January, February of this year. And originally the project was due to finish in March 2021. However, as some of our planned engagement activities had to be postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, an extension has recently been agreed with DEFRA for all 3 Pathfinder projects to be extended until September 2021. Now, the overall goal of all 3 Pathfinders is to boost research into and uptake of property flood resilience measures, which can better protect homes and businesses from flooding. It is also there to inspire behaviour change and also deliver physical activities. So you may already be aware of what property flood resilience, or PFR for short, is, or you may have heard of it in one of its previous names, such as property level protection, PLP, or individual property protection, IPP. But fundamentally, PFR has the potential to provide increased preparedness, protection and resilience to thousands of properties across the UK by providing practical, innovative and cost-effective products to help lower the flood risk and reduce the damage caused by floods. This in turn allows for a faster recovery and reoccupation process. And sometimes on average, people can find themselves out of their homes for up to 9 months after a flood, which I'm sure you can appreciate is has huge financial and health implications. Now with PFR, we can kind of think of it as two main elements. So there are the resistance measures, so keeping the water out. These measures can be fitted to a property, forming a physical barrier between the floodwater and the building itself, with the aim to reduce the amount of water entering the building, thereby reducing the damage caused internally. And some examples of resistant measures can be seen up on the screen there. So things like flood barriers, flood doors and gates are just a few examples of some resistant measures. And then the second element then of PFR is for when we can't stop the water from getting in. So we fit resilience measures. Now these are used to adopt the internal property, aiming to limit the damage caused if floodwater was to get in. And some examples of resilience measures are also up on the screen there. As an example, the electrics for the ground floor could be separated from other floors, so power can be turned off in isolation. But what is really important to remember is that PFR isn't simply just about the supply and installation of products. To really be effective and to have a legacy, these products need to be used in conjunction with other key components, such as creating community and personal flood plans, effective flood forecasting and warning systems, and regular community training exercises. Now, the Environment Agency's Flood and Coastal Erosion Risk Management Strategy, which was published just a couple of months ago, commits risk management authorities to mainstreaming PFR. And the EA and lead local authorities, like the ones I mentioned at the beginning, are defined as risk management authorities. So it is on them to embrace and promote the benefits of PFR as an effective part of flood risk management. So the PFR Pathfinder project then is not about delivering PFR schemes to communities, but what it is about supporting this mainstreaming process. And there are a number of work packages that we are working through, which is helping us to achieve this aim. As you can see on the screen, some of these work packages are listed. There are actually 8, but I've only put 6 up there, as the other 2 are more about project close down and exit strategies. Now, the funding that all 3 Pathfinders have received is going towards new research initiatives, demonstration centres and advice portals, which will help people to learn about the benefits of installing PFR measures in their properties. And within the Southwest Pathfinder project, we are focusing on local innovation to enhance the future uptake of PFR measures, establishing a demonstration site and a web portal, which I'll explain in much more detail a little bit later on, and various other materials and tools to simplify and streamline processes to increase the flood resilience of communities across Devon, Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. So really, I'm going to be focusing on 4 of those work packages, which are highlighted up on the screen there. But just as a quick overview of the other 2 before I dive into the 4 other work packages, the baselining work is ongoing, and it has been looking at the PFR which has been delivered across the Southwest over the last 10 years. How it's been delivered, so was it privately funded or was it paid through grants, and to what success has it been? And then also the EA's PFR framework. So the EA has a framework for delivering PFR to at-risk communities, and that can be accessed by local authorities. So there is work going on there to promote and raise awareness of that framework. So the tools work package then, this is a really exciting part of the Pathfinder project. We have been and are still developing various tools to promote and raise awareness of PFR. But first and foremost, we wanted to create a theme, or a brand I should say. So about 6 months ago, we created Be Flood Ready. And fundamentally, those 3 words say what PFR is all about. It's about being flood ready. And early on in the project, we purchased a rather rundown looking plain white trailer. But as you can see up on the screen there, this has been transformed into our flood pod, which is all ready to go. And the intention is that we will take the flood pod on a roadshow around Devon, Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly to take to community events such as the Royal Devon Show and visit at-risk communities and where established flood groups are based. Now, this tour was due to start back in October. However, COVID restrictions have prevented this from happening, but we are currently working on rescheduling this tour for 2021. And on board our flood pod, we are going to have various materials and exciting pieces to showcase the benefits of PFR. And one of these items is our tabletop model house, which is currently under development at the moment. And you can see a design prototype up on the screen there. And the idea of this model house is that it will be split into two halves. So half of the house will be unprotected, and then the other half will represent a property with various PFR measures installed. The idea then is that we will flood the house, and hopefully from the clever design, you will see things like the tide marks and the damage caused on the unprotected side to highlight the significant impact that PFR measures can have to a property. And what has been a really substantial piece of work for us has been the development of a website. And I'm thrilled to say that this is now live, befloodready.uk. So please do go have a look if you haven't already had the chance to do so. There's a huge amount of fantastic material on there, which I have a whole slide on coming up in just a minute. It's probably worth mentioning here that we're also on Twitter. So if you have social media, please do go give us a follow. There is plenty of great materials and messages that are frequently being shared on there. And you'll be able to keep up to date with any exciting news, such as our PFR roadshow dates when these become available. Another tool that we are going to take on the road with us is some detailed surface water mapping. We have a TV on the pod, so when people come and talk to us and want to understand the flood risk to their area, we can showcase them some really interesting flood modelling work which has been undertaken by JBA. And what they've done is run surface water models to show the effects that climate change will have across Devon and Cornwall. There are some example screenshots up on the slide there, 2 examples in Devon. And what you can see is the blue outlines showing the existing extent of the 30-year surface water flood outline. And then with the 25% and 65% uplift based on the latest climate change projections, we can see the new areas that may be at risk in the future. This really is a fascinating and eye-opening data set. So when people in whichever community we're visiting want to learn about their flood risk now, as well as in the future, we'll be able to show them this on the pod, on the TV, as another great way of discussing flood risk. So back to the website then, which, like I said, has been a massive piece of work for us and is something that is really starting to take shape now. On the screen there is just a snapshot summary of some of the information and materials that are available. So just going across some of the tabs at the top there, there is a whole section about the wide variety of PFR products that are available. And the house, which you can see up on the screen there, is a really great interactive feature that we have on our website. We hover over those little blue tags there. This represents different PFR products. What will happen is a little image will pop up of the PFR product, as well as a short description of what it does and how it works. There is also a huge section on what to do before, during, and after a flood. So coming back to that idea that PFR should be adopted along with other actions such as creating community and personal flood plans, etc. There's a huge amount of information within these sections covering a wide variety of topics such as insurance, grants, and much, much more. And throughout the website, you will find information that is specific to residential and commercial properties. So you can really easily find the information that is specific to you and your needs. We will also use the website to promote and list the PFR Roadshow. As soon as we have the schedule for this, this will sit within that PFR Roadshow tab, where you'll be able to go on and see when and where we will be in Devon. Another really great addition to the Be Flood Ready website is the story section. We've had some talking heads videos recorded of people who have had PFR fitted in Devon and Cornwall, which were only uploaded to the website within the last couple of weeks, explaining how PFR has brought them a peace of mind and show what PFR measures they have chosen to put in place. And if technology allows me to, I would like to share with you this video.
A delightful tea room, a cosy cottage, an impressive house, and a bungalow with a beautiful garden. 4 very different properties in the southwest, but they all have one thing in common. They've all been flooded.
What happens is, if the stream, which is just opposite the cottage here, floods, then it comes down the road. There's an open area further up the road, and it comes down the road, and this is the lowest point. So it all comes flooding in round here in the cottage, and it's got nowhere to go. There's no drain back into the stream because there's a wall along beside it.
Okay, well, we were flooded in January 2018 from the adjacent watercourse. So the water unfortunately came in the front gateway and the front door.
So the property is bounded by 2 bridges, one at the top end of the property, which is a footbridge, but at the bottom of the property there is a flat arch bridge with the road going over it. Now, originally, going back to the 1600s, there would have been a ford there, but somewhere along the line the flat arch bridge was built. So under flood conditions there is a real difficulty with the flood water getting under the flat arch bridge, so the water then backs up, and that eventually goes around the side of the property and out onto the main road. It was the speed of the event, I think, that overcame us. So we got up quite early in the morning, about 6 o'clock, and we were both going out to work, and by about 6:30 we'd moved one car away from the house, and by the time I'd walked back from the centre of the village to the house, we couldn't actually get into the garage because the water had already started inundating it. So we lost a motorhome and a small C1.
And, like the other properties, Jane's bungalow doesn't look like it would flood.
No, a lot of people say that. It's because we're in a bowl. We've got land around us that's slope, farmers' fields, so all the water comes off the fields, and we're the lowest part of the estate. And although various other places flood, we flood here, yes.
Her garden was flooded by 5 feet of water, and she was out of her home for 6 months. But the other thing these homeowners have in common, they've all used PFR grants to protect their property with new flood defences.
Before PFR, I just had flood boards with polythene and sandbags, which were extremely cumbersome and difficult to put in place. But with PFR, they brought these aluminium boards that just easily slot into a frame and bolt in. It takes me about 5 or 10 minutes to do it. It's so easy that if the weather forecast says there's going to be heavy rain, I just put these in and I can sleep well at night, and in the morning I can take them all out again. It doesn't take any time at all. They're really good.
Ultimately, we opted for 3 timber floodgates. So we protected the outside boundary of our property because we're in a bit of a walled garden scenario. So that first line of defence seemed to be the obvious one to go for, and we went for some, as I say, some timber flood resilience gates and a few other minor bits and pieces, some drain non-return valves.
This is a flood guard which just clips on the frame to stop the water going in through the air bricks. And you just, in fact, you can leave them up 2 weeks before it even affects any of the dampness inside. I've got a gate for the front door, a gate for the back door, and we had the back guard up at the back door, and usually our garden floods first before the back garden floods first before the front. And we had our gates up, and it came right up to the back door, and it stopped the water coming in.
From our point of view, we've now got much greater peace of mind because we've got a large flood barrier across the front of the garage. So when we go away, we put the flood guard up, and we're absolutely confident we're not going to lose any more vehicles.
And all four say that PFR, as well as helping them to protect their property, has given them something very special.
Reassurance overall, peace of mind, and the comfort of knowing I can sleep at night and come down in the morning and my feet will still be dry.
For me, it's been peace of mind to know that I can go away for a weekend, for example, and not worry unduly about it raining and the property flooding again.
We've now got much greater peace of mind.
It's a peace of mind. I mean, when we have heavy rain, I put them up, and I can go to sleep without and actually not worry about being flooded again.
So it's quite simple. PFR means peace of mind.
Yeah, great little video there of how PFR has brought peace of mind to many people across Devon and Cornwall already. And then the last thing that I really wanted to mention about the website is the community hub that we have. With conversations that we've had with the Environment Agency, Devon Communities Together, and from us ourselves at Cornwall Community Flood Forum, it's obvious that there is already a lot of fantastic community flood groups that exist across Devon and Cornwall. And what we wanted to do was provide a forum for these flood groups to come together to be able to discuss in a safe and controlled space their experiences, their best practices, and share templates. So it's by invite only to community flood groups. And if you're interested in joining, then please do get in touch and we can get you signed up for that. So the last slide then, and some of the other exciting things that we have been developing in some of the other work packages. So as part of the awareness raising work package, we have collaborated with the Communities Prepared team, who help to equip community volunteer groups nationwide to prepare for, respond to, and recover from flooding and many other wider emergencies as well. And we've collaborated with them to develop this introductory PFR booklet. And it's currently in the final review stages, but essentially it is a condensed version of the Be Flood Ready website, containing a lot of information on the different types of PFR products that are available, what you can do to prepare before, during, and after a flood, some more fantastic PFR case studies. And what is particularly great is that we have provided various pages, blank pages within the booklet that you can make notes on when you come visit us at the Flood Pod, for example, that are specific to you and your needs. Now this booklet will be available for everyone and will also accompany our awareness raising workshops, which we are aiming at flood groups, which are also planned for 2021. Again, we will be bringing the Flood Pod to those workshops, the tabletop model house as well. And for any of you who may have attended the Cornwall Community Flood Forum's conference last year or the virtual one this year, we'll also have sample PFR products for you to get hands-on and to build your learning in order to take back this knowledge and share with your community. Another really exciting work package is also the demonstration site. We want people to be able to see PFR products and get hands-on with them. So we will have a demonstration site, one in Devon and one in Cornwall. So people will be able to come and see first-hand products installed in situ in a testing tank sort of facility. which we will then open up to industry and members of the public as well. Like I said, this is still in development, but keep an eye out on our website and Twitter account for updates and information on this. And finally then, I want to talk to you about the industry engagement work package and the fantastic opportunity that we have for businesses in Devon, Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. Lucy Isaacson, who I think I've seen is in this meeting, will be running a 5-part series of free workshops specifically targeting businesses in the Southwest. Now, this really is a fantastic opportunity. As part of the workshop, businesses will meet with a property resilience surveyor who will look at that business's needs to reducing flood risk on a one-to-one basis. They will receive certificate to unlock grants for equipment and also get access to free templates for plans. Now, these workshops are all being delivered online and are going to be spaced out over a period of time to allow businesses to carry on with their day-to-day running, which is so vital at the moment considering the extremely tough year that they've been through. So if you have or know of a business in your community who may be interested in these free workshops, then please do pass on the Eventbrite information, which is up on the screen there. Alternatively, get in contact with us or myself, and we'll be happy to book you onto those. The workshops are going to start in April 2021 and will run through to August, with a choice of dates for each workshop as well. I should mention that we do only have 96 spaces in these workshops, and some of those have already gone, so please do book on as soon as you can. And I think that is it from me. All of our details on how to get in touch are up on the screen there, but I will hand back over to see if there are any questions.
Thank you, Molly. Wait for everybody to come back. Thank you so much. That was really interesting. If you have a question, if you could please make it so we could see you and raise your hand, or use the raise hand button within the participants screen so we know who's asking a question. If nobody has any immediate questions, I would like to just ask Molly where we can get that, if we can see without going to the pod, the data in those maps that you showed where it shows the flood risk with climate change.
Yes, certainly. JBA were responsible for producing those, and I'm sure if people can't come and visit us at the Flood Pod, we will be able to make them accessible on the Be Flood Ready website, so anybody can go have a look at those really fascinating maps. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that'd be really useful to show communities who are thinking about community emergency planning as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Richard.
Yes, hi there. My name is Richard Horn. I represent Topsham community. Molly, have you planned the locations that you're going to be doing these workshops, or is that up for bidding or what?
Yeah, perhaps I can answer that for Devon for Molly. We did have quite a comprehensive programme worked out for this autumn, which we spread it around the areas of Devon, so we were making sure that everybody would have reasonable access. So there were locations in East Devon. We're going to have to sort of rejig that once we can get on the road. But the plans are to be at Devon County Show, so 3 days at the show there, and possibly some of the one-day shows. But what we tried to do was get a sort of geographic mix of the locations for the pod, and also to get out and support some of the active flood groups. So we get into their localities so that residents could come and have a look. So as soon as we get the green light to get the pod hooked up and on the road, then we'll be publishing the program of displays. And yeah, I think we weren't that far away from Topsham. We'll be close by.
Okay, look forward to seeing you sometime.
Yes.
We'll definitely make sure that our community emergency planning groups get to hear about that as a priority. Other questions? I noticed Diana just asked whether Molly and Lucy could please put their email addresses into the chat so that they could be contacted to discuss other things. Thank you, Molly. Thank you. Okay, so we don't have any further questions. I guess I want to just say that when you're thinking about your community emergency planning, I think everything that we've just heard about here is really relevant, and where you've got community properties, businesses or households that might flood in your community, thinking about how you can help them access these measures would be really valuable and really enhance your community emergency plan. And also to just note, I'm not entirely sure, and I know Dom's on the call, he might have a bit more of an idea, but Devon County Council does have funding available for property level flood measures for individuals. There are obviously quite a few criteria to meet in order to be able to access that. I don't know, Molly or Dom, whether you're able to elaborate a bit more on how people can fund property level flood resilience. Molly? Molly did mention at the beginning that she might have some problems with her internet, and that's why she wasn't showing her face. Okay, so the basic message there is, if you are looking for property level flood resilience for yourself or anybody else in your community, to have a look on the Devon County Council webpage, because you can apply for grant funding for that. I hope you've all found that useful. We have 2 further sessions today. We've got a session from the Environment Agency coming up, and then we've got our final session of the day with my colleague Martin, who's here, who is our Village Falls expert and has been running a COVID-19 helpline for the last, feels like for a very long time, since the beginning of the pandemic. And we're going to be looking specifically at how you can ensure that where you've got a rest centre in your community emergency plan, that is COVID secure should you need to use it over the coming months. So I think that's a really important session for people to come along to if they can. So I hope to see many of you later on through the sessions and the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Very interesting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hiya. Can I just say a quick little,
yes.
Just some of the people that are here, just to say in Molly's absence, if you have the opportunity to discuss with businesses about joining our workshops, because one of the main things that we would like to be testing and talking about and foresee as an issue is the businesses are obviously very busy right now, which is why we've put back the workshops to April, but actually helping businesses to realise that for the long haul, for the long term, and for insurance and for all sorts of other things, that they really need to be able to have a good knowledge, and that's what the workshops are for. So the first one is actually very much about climate change and the long term and what's going to happen, so that they can have a bit more ownership. So if you have the opportunity to help us by approaching businesses and talking to them about it, there is a weakness, there always has been, which is why we have this Pathfinder, we're getting the foot in the door with businesses. And we've done it before in a little pilot where we've done just a 45-minute thing. But this, we're going to sort of test a little bit longer and all the different aspects of it. So by you having a chat with businesses and hand-holding them into it and realising that it's really valuable will be a real help to us and to them. They've got other things on their mind, but come February, if you're able, you know, if you line up who you've got in mind and you'll be able to help talk to them and offer them this, it will be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Thanks, everyone. I'll draw us to a close now. Thank you.